I learn how to learn. I am knowledge.
There are three areas critical to the success of the Black community in Africa and the African diaspora. They are culture, education, and economics. In this video series, we continue to examine issues and concepts related to education and self-love, which those who care about the Black community may examine and consider. Culture is the foundation of self-love. Again, what is culture? The word culture comes from the word cultivate, which is related to the domestication and growth of. But culture is a way to cultivate and civilize people. This is done first by establishing universal laws and standards of behavior. We call those universal laws the guiding principles of peace and unity. It is an ethical moral framework that says do good, do no harm to others. You can get a copy of the guiding principles of peace and unity at our website, thegppu.org, in the resources section at the top. With these universal laws as a foundation, culture will 1. Prepare you for life, 2. Foster your growth, and 3. Improve you as a person and a community. You can watch our previous videos to understand why we need culture and how it helps us create civilization at thegppu.org in the Living section. Today, we will continue to discuss the two critical roles that education plays in developing a culture of self-love. In the previous videos, we said that the first role of education in developing a culture of self-love is teaching people, especially children, their history. That is critical. Today, we will discuss the second role of education in developing a culture of self-love. That consists of understanding the nature of intelligence, showing people their intelligences, and providing them with an opportunity to use those intelligences for the development of self-love. So, what is intelligence? As a lifelong educator who has actually observed the learning of many people, children and adults, it is my view that intelligence and the true reality of intelligence is represented by the theory of multiple intelligences. The theory of multiple intelligences was proposed in 1983 by Dr. Howard Gardner, a cognitive psychologist. The theory of multiple intelligences says that there are 9 types of intelligence. 1. Verbal linguistic intelligence. 2. Mathematical logical intelligence. 3. Visual spatial intelligence. 4. Musical rhythmic intelligence. 5. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence. 6. Interpersonal intelligence. 7. Intrapersonal intelligence. 8. Naturalistic intelligence. And 9. Existential intelligence. Those who disagreed with Gardner complained that what he was identifying were talents, not intelligence. Their views show that they do not understand the complex cognitive and intellectual processes needed to compose a piece of music, choreograph a dance, or execute a successful boxing strategy. Gardner's detractors also complain there's no way to test his intelligence, like an IQ test. Those critics are also limited in their understanding of how intelligence can be identified. Intelligence is identified using the actual life work of a person and that they do every day, and how well they excel at doing that life's work, not through a written test. In fact, the greatest educational theorists, Piaget, Bloom, Vygotsky, Skinner, insisted that intelligence is actually developed by doing and experiencing, by doing the thing that you are trying to learn and master in real life. Today, we will focus on one of Gardner's 9 intelligences, verbal linguistic intelligence. Actually, what we're going to be talking about is verbal linguistic dominance, because everyone has verbal linguistic intelligence. It is just that some of us have dominance or greater access and ease of use of verbal linguistic intelligence than others of us. That is called dominance. Those who are verbal linguistic dominant easily grasp and understand words, love reading words, love writing words, love playing word games. They often have extensive vocabularies for their age, speak their native languages or other languages fluently, create fancy word expressions, use words with rhythm. They also are always paying attention to and commenting on the words used by others and how they use them. This is what you see when a child is verbal linguistic dominant. And again, dominant means that the neural networks of her brain have strong and complex connections, especially to the left side of the brain at the Broca and Wernicke centers. Of course, children can have dominance in more than one of the 9 intelligence areas. Because traditional education systems are verbal linguistic focused, there are many tests to measure your child's verbal linguistic development. But the true test is by observing your child's daily behavior. Does he or she display verbal linguistic dominance using the signs that I've indicated? Now, I have some suggestions for parents and caregivers. My suggestions here are not just for verbal linguistic dominant children. Don't make that mistake. They are for all children. Strengthening the verbal linguistic skills of every child is critical to that child's development of any and all of the 8 other intelligences. Now, read to your child, even when your child is in the womb. I sound crazy, right? Sound travels faster and more efficiently through water than through the air. The womb is made largely of water. While a child is in the womb, and for the first 3 years after birth, its brain is growing at an enormous rate and speed. Help it by reading to that child while it is in the womb. Then read to that child daily after birth. Read everything and anything, every day, to your child. Comic books, street signs, cereal boxes, whatever. Anything that can be read. Read it to and with your child. Talk about the letters that make up words. Compare how similar letters are the same or different, or similar words are the same or different, and how they have similar or different meanings. Immerse your child in words. You can do this for free. You can do it at home, or you can take your child to the local library regularly. Off. For early readers, read rhythmic, repetitive, and patterned reading materials. There's a list of early reading books in the description of this video. And most of all, remember, do good, do no harm.